-10 degrees, and I'll be working on the car. Yeah. If you guys remember what the side of the car looked like when we got it, take a look at this. So it's still not clean. This is just a little bit of CLR. So as you can see, all of the stains that were dripping from the rust are all nearly gone. So just to show you what a quick 5-minute rub can actually do, it's crazy. Anyways, battery's dying, but I'll go charge it on the inside, and in the meantime I will find the air filter. So the throttle body is here, there's an air box here, and your air filter is right here. As I was saying, a lot of times you don't even need a piece of tool. So clip. This is another air box I'll probably have to remove, and I think that's usually there's another one that should be holding it, but that looks like it. There we go. So we'll pull it, and this is the old air filter. So when we look on the inside, it is not extremely dirty, but it hasn't been changed for a while. You can definitely see that there is some rust. I've seen much worse, but you can see that there is some dirt that got into it. So we will throw it out, and we will change it with a new one after we clean the inside of this box. Never know what you're getting into when you buy an old piece of car. So I was doing I finished the air filter, so it's changed in there. Got a coffee. Thank you very much, McDonald's. And well, thank you very much to my girlfriend actually that picked it up for me. So I was removing the spark plugs, and as I pulled the spark plug wires, I noticed that there was a bit of oil around them. So I looked at the holes right there, and it seems like the O-rings, which are from the valve cover, might be shot. So what I'll do is I noticed that some of the bolts for the not the head gasket, but the valve cover were a bit loose. So I tightened them so that hopefully there's not going to be, it's going to compress some of the seals, who knows. But here are the old spark plugs. So this one I wiped it, but as you guys can see, this one I wiped it, but as you can see, it is dark, and I think that it was definitely due for a change. So take a Kleenex and take a look at this. Tons of oil. So I don't know, like I'll have to, there it is. So what I'll do is I'll change the spark plugs. I will make sure that all of the bolts for the valve cover are tight. I will seat the electrical wires properly, and we'll see what happens from there. So in order to access this side, I didn't show you guys, but I had to remove the battery because it was definitely in the way. Once the batteries are removed, then you just basically remove the spark plug wires. You have access to the hole. You got your 5/8 wrench with an extension. You remove them. There they are. So I will be doing the exact same thing on the other side. The only difference on the other side, I think I'm gonna have to remove the entire air box to access it properly. I'm sure there's a way without removing it, but I prefer to not to break anything and do it properly. So I'll remove the air box, and we're gonna change it on that side as well. People will continue to impress me every single day of my life. So I removed the spark plugs. The old ones are at the top right there. The new ones are right here. And the spark plugs that were in this car, not only they were due to be changed, but also they were the wrong ones. If ever you look at the actual serial number, they were not for this car. So not impressed at all. So what I did now is I pulled the new seafoam. Seafoam, we're going to be cleaning the throttle body. We're going to be cleaning the valves once we get the car started. But I wanted to use the seafoam to spray some of it into the spark plug holes, so that it actually absorbs some of the oil and some of the grease, so that I can grab one of these clean cloth and clean it all around before I reseat the new spark plugs. And once the new spark plugs are seated, I will be grabbing the wires, plugging them back in, putting the air box back onto it, putting the battery back onto it, and the spark plugs should be good to go. So this is it. Whenever you're buying spark plugs, always make sure that you're buying the right kind. Some of you folks are probably actually wondering, before I go too far, I just thought about that. Some of you folks are probably wondering, since I just said that the wrong spark plugs were in there, how is the car running? Well, technically the car will still run, because as long as you have some fuel, some spark, and some air, the car will run. It will start up. The problem though is that some of the spark plugs are made for your specific car because sometimes of the gap of the plug. There are several factors, to be honest, and even though the car was still running, it could cause a rough idle, it could cause a rough acceleration, it could cause low fuel economy. So all of that means that you need to make sure you have the right spark plugs. So we did buy the right ones. They are in the hose, so trash. And the old ones that are all dirty and all burned, goodbye. There you go. Let's get back to it. Okay, so it started up with a whole bunch of sea foam, so it's going to be smoking for a little while. We greased it up, we cleaned it up, spark plugs, sea foam, air filter, a lot of it has been done. So letting it run, I'm letting it smoke for the time being. I'll probably try to fix the exhaust as well, but I wanted to connect my OBD2 to actually try to erase the check engine codes to see if I fixed it. So guys, we are Saturday, and I was definitely not expecting this today. However, when was it? On Wednesday I ordered brakes, and UPS just showed up on Saturday morning. The day that it's supposed to be nice outside, that I might be able to do some of it. Here's what we got. We got some brand new ceramic brake pads with some of the hardware front and back. We did get some rear, a pair of rear drilled discs, and a pair of front drilled and vented discs for the front. So super excited. So I'm super excited that we got this today. That means that hopefully if I'm able to get a few things done, I need to put the winter tires on the Accord and then do a few things on the Subaru. But I might actually take a look at trying to get, at the very least, the front brakes completed so that the car can move and that we can see if ever there is a brake fluid leak somewhere. So super exciting. This is it. Like, we're gonna get some of it done. I'll be filming some of it, so I'll show you guys in a bit what we got. I don't know where I left off, but I was doing a whole bunch of stuff. I cleaned up the engine, and now I jacked up the car, and once again I'm unimpressed by the human race. This is unbelievable. Look at this. So I jacked up the car, I removed the tire, I removed the two screws. Well, those are all the lug nuts, but the two screws that are after the caliper, it like, this heated up. Like, look at how extended the cylinders are. This is unbelievable. You can see why I was losing brake fluid. It's losing brake fluid from right here. It's exactly what I thought was happening, is that the cylinders are so extended that the brake fluid is leaking through them. So what I'll try to do is I'll try to lube up the entire I'll try to lube up all of the boots so that they're all pretty, and I will try to put the cylinders back into their place, so hopefully we don't have to replace the entire caliper. If ever we have to, whatever, we'll do it, just so that someone doesn't break their face driving this car. But I think that we should be good if ever they're not seized. Actually, no, they're not seized. I can move them by hand, so we should be good to go. So next step, get on that, remove the disc, replace the disc. Look at this. Let's just remove the disc. I received a call from the local car parts. They received my hardware kit for the brakes. I'll have some new boots, some new bolts. Like, everything's gonna be brand new on this car. Well, on these brakes, let's say. So let's get back into it. Okay, so I just spent a good, maybe 2 hours fighting with the car. I was hoping to replace this brake. However, the caliper bolts are, well, the bracket for the caliper bolts are completely seized there. They are impossible to be removed. I broke some ratchets. there's nothing I could do, to be honest. I tried to heat it up. I tried a whole bunch of things, so I will have to grind it off and get a new bracket so that it's done properly, done fighting with this side. Now I went to the other side. I'm like, you know what? Might be able to do at the very least 3 out of 4 today. Nope. So this section, the problem is not removing the bolts. Well, the problem was removing the bolts and removing the disc and all that, because it was all seized there. The problem is that the lock pin, the slider pin that you have here, you have one on each side so that your pads can actually properly move, completely seized up. So I pulled some of the bolts. There is no grease. There's no grease anywhere. The previous person that did the brakes on this car, I assume that they bone dried all of the nuts. They bone dried everything and just installed it without any grease. So everything is seized. I'm fighting with this car. Usually it would take me 2 hours to get the brake job done. Definitely not today. I am trying to do the rear. The rear has been removed. I am cleaning it off. I will be grinding everything off so that it's done properly, making sure that the cylinder is sliding properly, cleaning this. Now I'm heading to Canadian Tire now to pick up some of the hardware so that I'll change everything up. Like, might as well. There's no purpose of reinstalling any of this. This would be an absolute nightmare for the person that would drive it. So we'll make it safe and we'll do it properly. So I'll be back once I have the hardware. We're gonna set up the rear discs, the rear pads, everything, try to get it done properly. So hopefully the rear's gonna get done today. And tomorrow, once I can get the front calipers purchased, I will hopefully finish up the front, then check the exhaust leak, and then we're gonna have made very, very good progress on a car, I would say. So anyways, I will be right back. So for all of the idiots doing brake jobs out there, not knowing what they're doing and screwing it completely up, not even researching what they're doing, so these pins need to be fully flexible, so you need to grease them. Same thing for these pins. They need to be fully greased and they need to be moving. If ever they don't move, don't put your brakes back on because they will jam. These things need to be cleaned up. These are the guides so that the calipers can move on it. They cannot be loose because otherwise you will hear some vibration. Well, not vibration, but you will hear some noises whenever you brake. These usually require some bolts right there so that it's secured and that it's tight. I am using some grease on all of the bolts. Everywhere we have bolts, there's some grease going on there. So next step that I'll be doing now is I'll be putting on the actual caliper, well, right there. So I'll be cleaning the caliper because it's really dirty, making sure that the cylinder is moving, lube up the cylinder, and this is gonna go on top right here, and then we should be good to go. So let's get to it. Okay, so this is it. As you guys have noticed, I have the 2 screws at the back that are properly lubed. This is lubed up, this is lubed up. The back bolts are lubed up as well. The disc is holding properly, the calipers can move, the cylinder is pushing back and forth properly. Everything has been greased. Next step will be to actually remove this little cap and bleed all of the brakes. No bleeding brakes is not necessarily required when you do these basic changes. The reason why I will bleed the brakes later on is because there is some air that got into the system, so we have to do it. So anyways, this section is done. Next thing that I'll be doing is I'll be cleaning everything off just so that the rust doesn't continue. I'll make it all pretty, all shiny. This is the, look at this, this is the old disc, completely done. old pads, completely crooked. Anyways, so this section, this side is completed. That's not done. Now my next step for today will be this wheel, the exact same process, putting the battery on the charger, and hopefully done for the day, because we spent all day on this. Unbelievable. Tomorrow I'll probably going to the scrapyard to get some parts. Hopefully I'll be able to find some parts in a decent shape. If not, I'll buy them new. But anyways, so I'll show you guys in a bit once I'm at the other stage. So I'm not sure where I exactly left off a few days ago, but had a few things to do on the Impreza, and sorry, give me a quick second. I'm dropping stuff. Oh yeah, so I got a few things that I wanted to continue to do on the Impreza, such as change the headlights. So now they are sanded down. They're going to be buffed and polished this afternoon. I cleaned up the wheels. I did the slotted and vented brakes on this bad boy. So it has brand new brakes on all 4 wheels. It has winter tires. The interior has been detailed, partially detailed, as much as I can make it pretty. The carpets have been air sprayed and everything has been prettied up. Same thing for the back. It's very nice. Now, yeah, I don't know. So right now what I'm working on is I jacked up the car and I am removing the the oil filter, draining the oil, putting some fresh oil into this with some Lucas. I did bleed the brakes on it. I did lube all of the pulleys and everything. Air filters, spark plugs, all of that has been done. I took it for a test drive. It runs, actually, for a cheap car, it runs quite good. But it still does have the exhaust leak. So I did find where the exhaust leak was. This morning I took some time to start removing some of the shields at the bottom so that I can actually see if there's a leak without noticing that. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but I can't zoom in, but completely at the back, there is, right before the cat, there's a joint right there, and it is completely shot. So at the back right here somewhere, I believe, that will have to be cut and re-welded together. However, without a jack, I think it's going to be quite difficult. So I might ask Mark and his dad to see if we can use the lift for like maybe a morning or an afternoon. I don't think this is going to be something that's going to take a full day. Maybe, hopefully, 2-3 hours, jack it up, cut it off, re-weld it, put it back together. I think that we should be good with that. So anyways, I'll get to the draining the oil and put some brand new fresh Castrol GTX into it. There we go. Okay, folks, again, I don't know where I left off. I was trying to do so much on this car, and forgot to film a lot of it, but I did a lot of it on the car, and it's ready to go. I think it's ready to be used. So did a whole bunch of stuff, so let's list them out real quick. I did the full cleanup, full detailing of it, I cleaned up the rims. I did the brakes on all 4 wheels. It was seized to the point that you guys wouldn't believe, as you saw in a previous clip. It was unbelievable, but the brakes are slotted and vented with some brand new shoes, brand new pads. I'm not going to say shoes because of Mark says shoes are for drums, and I agree with him. So brand new pads, brand new discs, oil change in the motor with some Lucas oil stabilizer, brand new spark plugs, brand new oil filter, fuel filter. The full brake fluid has been changed, brakes have been bleeded, the engine has been fully detailed as well. The exhaust leak has been fixed with a flex pipe. Oh my god, there's just so much to list that I'm losing track. But anyways, I'll leave this video with a little overview of what the car currently looks like. And before I let you guys go, I will give you a little preview of what I just got in the mail. So the next video is going to be about this. I am so excited. The ones that know what this is, well, you guys know what this means. For the ones that don't know what this is, check the next video. That's going on to the H22 turbo car that is currently stored. I will be putting those on and hopefully cranking up the engine with the Honda that we also purchased. So stoked about that. That's amazing. I'm so happy that we got it. I've been waiting for like 3 weeks for this. Anyways, this is it. Here is what the car currently looks like.